Welcome to Americana. Please make your selection followed by the pound sign. Now,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the disclaimer. That's right, the disclaimer. This American apple pie institution known as parental discretion will cleanse any sense of innuendo or sarcasm from the lyrics which might actually make you think, and will also insult your intelligence at the same time. So, protect your family. This album contains explicit depictions of things which are real. These real things are commonly known as life. So, if it sounds sarcastic, don't take it seriously. If it sounds dangerous, do not try this at home or at all. And if it offends you, just don't listen to it.
Son of a bitch.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster. Damn, it feels good to be a gangster. A real gangster ass nigga plays his cards right. A real gangster ass nigga never runs his fucking mouth, cause real gangster ass niggas don't start
Hey everyone. Feeling stressed, anxious, or dealing with nagging pain? Sleepless nights and inflammation got you down? Well, I've got something that could change your life. Introducing Endo by Syrona. This revolutionary CBD oil supplement is taking wellness to a whole new level. Now, what makes Endo so special? It's all in the science. Syrona uses a cutting-edge nano-emulsion process to break down CBD into tiny nano-sized particles, and it's far more bioavailable than standard oil-based products. Our unique nano-fluidization system and proprietary stable suspension technology means faster absorption into your bloodstream and a quicker, more potent effect. Imagine feeling relief in minutes, not hours. Pretty cool, right? But that's not all. Endo is made from highly potent, 100% organic, non-GMO ingredients. It's a full-spectrum hemp extract, so you get the complete entourage effect of all the cannabinoids, terpenes, and flavonoids working together. Plus, we've added vitamin E for antioxidant and redox imbalance support, and peppermint oil for a refreshing taste. Widespread scientific analysis of CBD antioxidant activity has shown that it can regulate the state of redox directly by affecting the components of the redox system and indirectly by interacting with other molecular targets associated with redox system components, like glutathione, for example. Picture this, you, pain-free, relaxed and well-rested. Whether you're at work, hitting the gym, or just unwinding at home, Endo helps you live your best life. Ready to try it for yourself? Visit our website now and grab your bottle of Endo. Don't miss out on this chance to revolutionize your health. Try Endo today, the world's most fast-acting, highly potent and bioavailable CBD solution. And get on track to restoring youth one drop at a time. Syrona, because looking and feeling young never gets old. Here's to your health.
Today it is Friday, November 21st, 2025 on the Satanic Gregorian calendar. I am your host, Ethan Lucas, kind of a co-host also here on the Ethan Lucas Show, also simulcasting on Truth Stream. And I've got these wonderful gentlemen with me here tonight for part 3 of Sovereign Codes and Cosmic Infrastructure. The big hit having George on. Glad to have you back. Thanks for making it.
Well, I'm very happy to be back. It feels like family here.
Of course. Yeah. So I actually have incidentally had almost no time to prepare for the show myself. So I will not be a fly on the wall, but I will actually lean on you guys to kind of direct this one a little bit more. We've been busy bees on the land for the New Earth Tenacity project and building that out, that Healing and Regenesis Center, that sovereign micronation, that all ties into everything that we're talking about here. But because of that, I have had almost no time today to prepare what I normally would. So I will take that as a sign that I'm not supposed to speak as much today. Imagine that.
Well, I want to start off with what a pleasure it's been to meet George, the audience's reaction to George, the viscera that he's created for the show, and I'm going to read just a couple of the comments. It's been fantastic. He really adds a beautiful element, and he also has something he wants to let the audience know that he's offering as a part of what he does. He'll get into that later. But here's some of the comments. I have so much respect for you, George. You were amazing. Here we go. We don't have to gloat too much, but I love shining light on people. It's part of what we do on TruthStream, since Scott and I run a very guest centric show. This was great to listen to. This is for part 2. Part 1, we didn't have George. We hadn't met him yet. This was from a week ago. This is great to listen to. George H. is truly a fascinating person, such talent, and shares his knowledge so easy and freely. Thanks for the good vibes and laughs. Fantastic food for the heart and mind. Love from Northeast Florida. And that's Susan369. So, and look at those numbers. I mean, come on, Susan369. So I just wanted to start with that.
The Tesla numbers.
We're just honored.
Exactly. Frequency vibration. I love that, Northeast Florida.
Right? So we're just stoked. I'll admit I was in a huge funk for a few days. My mom was not sure if we were going to make it down to Hawaii for her 80th birthday. We all got here within the last 18 hours. We're here. I can finally relax. Scott and I are in a really good place with the show. We just had an awesome meeting with BB McGuire, who's a nurse and is teaching people all kinds of information, especially about glutathione and sharing her journey. So we're just stoked to be here, and I have to be at a like, what a problem. I have to be at a luau in about 2 hours. So we got plenty of time, and I want to turn it over to Scott for a second, because I just wanted to hear where Scott's at and to get his input on where things are going and his viscera from George. So Scott, I'm going to shut up for a second. Go ahead.
Love George. I love these conversations. Honestly, it kind of delivers us from the political chaos that is our world right now. I'd have to say that people are socioeconomically constipated at the moment because everything is just nuts. And I think it's serving a function. I think, well, I'm right, aren't I? It's guiding us within, I think, because honestly, I used to surf Twitter for like 2 hours straight. Now 10 minutes, and I feel like I'm holding a hot potato kind of thing. I can't do it. It's a meltdown. That being said, I am in Arizona. I'm surrounded by some very
Uh-oh.
with folks that are introducing medical legislation that's going to absolutely change the world. And I won't get into all those details. This isn't the show for it, but it's really cool when I feel like every minute of my life is pretty vital, or recovering from the vital parts,
Yes. Love it.
Yeah. But so good to see you, George. How have you been?
We are live. Real quick, we are live. We're on the right channel. This is airing on TruthStream. We're all set. Just if anyone's wondering, we're good. Just no.
Yep. We are
Okay,
live
I saw
on
that.
Ethan Lucas Show and TruthStream simultaneously.
Yes.
Excellent.
Beautiful. I didn't want to interrupt.
I just think we
want
had
to let you know.
I think we threw up a different thumbnail, but we've been we've been burning the candle at both ends. I think all of us, in a variety of ways, which is good news because it's going to mean better content in the near future.
I'm seeing the right thumbnail. What are you looking at?
I I don't know. Maybe I have a ghost in the machine.
No, we're
Could be.
set. We're set. Carol's asking. We're all set. I'm yeah. No
It's all good.
worries.
Also, George, before we get started, because I think we'll forget because we always get into so many great topics and conversation. I know you wanted to offer a discount on your astrological and intuitive readings for everybody. So, do you want to tell people what that's about before we forget and kind of move on?
Thank you. That's really kind of you, Ethan. Yeah. Well, firstly, thank you so much for the introduction, the reintroduction, and also the welcome back. It's really very meaningful for me because it's a sign of my soul contract. This is where I'm meant to be with you guys, journeying into the light together at this great time of ascension or a great awakening. We all have different languaging, of course, for it, and I find it really does warm my heart when I get messages like that, because it does. We're all sensitives at the end of the day, so to get that feedback is very nice. So thank you. So I'd like to offer a discount on my services to your community. If anyone wants an intuitive reading, an astrological reading, an hour with me, I'd love to offer that at a discount, which I can share with people if they approach me on my website through my website.
And how do they find you there, George?
Probably the best thing is to email me at georgehlewis@me.com, or you can just go through my website at georgehlewis.com.
Cool.
Excellent. Thank you.
Right, quick like
Very
while we're
kind.
talking, but there you go.
We
So,
have a great audience. They
what
definitely
shall
deserve
we talk about, boyos? I mean, this is sovereign codes and cosmic infrastructure. We've been talking about 3iAtlas and the Mercury in the microwave right now. We just had a new Scorpio moon that really messed a lot of people. I actually witnessed it. Somebody who has a really strong scorpionic chart, dude literally had a meltdown. Somebody that I know personally and quite like this doesn't happen. I'm like, wow, this shit is real. It's about to go down.
Yeah.
And it has. So I don't know what's up with that,
we're in
but
retrograde also, right? Mercury's in retrograde, which is always a bitch. I mean, yeah, this alignment it's just, I've been feeling kind of numb, kind of spiritually sedated. It's like for so long, it was just like this boom, 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 just this constant growth, this constant, um, I was just energized all the time, and then all of a sudden I just felt like I was out in the middle of the desert looking for a glass of water. What do you think, George?
Yeah, I mean, look, when we have the activation, especially in fixed planets, in fixed signs like Scorpio. So the fixed grand cross is Scorpio, Taurus, which are opposite each other, and then you've got Aquarius, Leo. With people who carry a lot of that energy in their chart, it's to do with fixed beliefs or just fixity, stuck energy. And so when you see a new moon, it's behooving us to step into the new, and that's what really is that microcosm is what's happening on the planetary field at the moment. Every single one of us is being forced through the proverbial birth canal, the cosmic birth canal, to really start to let go of their old story, to let go of their old belief systems. It's not that they're all important, but we are not the belief system. And part of the journey towards higher realms of consciousness, in order for us to actually make contact with higher dimensional beings, yes, that's real, we have to raise our frequency. And we have the codes through 3iAtlas and through the cosmic weather. I can go into it. It's pure biological cosmology that we're dealing with. Huge evolution is coming down the pipeline for us in terms of our biology. I mean, Q talks about it. The last post of Q, we know it's all about the DNA. What's in it? Why? Why was it placed there? And so we really are on this journey to becoming conscious of that which we were once unconscious about. And when we make that conscious, and these are the words of Carl Jung, we will no longer call it fate. And so all of us in our own way, the ones who are on the journey towards the light, this is the decision. And what I will say is it's hard at the moment because there's no planets apart from Uranus in an earth sign. So it's so important, and I have to practice this daily. I practice what I teach, and I am a much more of a student of this than a teacher, because that's why I can teach it with authority, because I need this medicine, if not more than most people, is barefoot on the ground. How do you ground? Because if we don't get into nature, we don't ground, we don't drink the structured water, we don't eat the organic rather than the synthetic food, we'll just be dissipated, we'll just be scattered, we'll be taken here through the fear, and we get pulled back into Saturn. So this time it's really about staying grounded, staying activated, and staying in the heart frequency of the divine mystery to unfold.
Love it.
George, do you feel? I mean, I sort of, I don't know. In the last, I guess, 30 days, I've really felt a gravitation to a whole different dimensional reality, and the 3D feels like a real imposition, but a necessity at the same time. It's
Yes.
uh, it's making it difficult, but at the same time, I kind of have an I don't give a fuck kind of an attitude about it. I don't know. I've never really experienced life in this state before. Linear time is certainly not linear anymore.
Scott, you've been to Arizona. What are you talking about? You've been to that state many times.
Yeah, well,
God damn.
but I mean, you know what I mean. It's like, and I've always struggled with linear time. Ask Joe, but
Gosh,
I'm out of
it's
it.
so it's,
I'm in
it's
another
so good that
realm
you're
of
saying
existence.
this. But it's so good that you're saying this, because in a way, this is the
Yeah.
journey, is coming away from Chronos into Kairos.
Yeah.
Chronos, chronological, is linear Saturn time. Chronos is obviously Saturn in the Greek. We move out of Chronos into Kairos, quantity into quality. Kairos, the kairotic. And when we can move into the Kairos, we actually lose our fear of death, because we become the observer in the 3D. And so Saturn can't cling on. There's nothing to cling on to, because we know that we're souls incarnate. We're remembering so fast. Part of the Great Awakening is remembrance.
George, can you
100%.
expand more on Kairos? Because I am not as familiar with that term as I should be, and I don't think our audiences. I could be wrong, but you just really hit the nail on the head in that moment. So please
Okay,
expand.
so if we bring it to what we're doing, us five here, four of us here, we're sitting here with your wonderful audience, and we're creating a time based on Kairos, which is quality. There's something relational. It's the polarity. It's part of the laws of correspondence to do with polarity, correspondence of polarity, that we ping pong off each other. We create this quality energetic between us. Time becomes almost irrelevant, and we stay in this creative sphere, which is Jupiterian, Venusian, the two benefics, of course. Saturn can't kind of get in. And if Saturn does, he bows the knee, not rather than the other way around, towards our creativity. And Saturn then offers the structure, as opposed to the domination, the control, the linear control of top-down authority. And so Kairos is this quality engagement that we do through being innately human and innately creative as a human being. You see, part of the joy and the genius of humanity is the creativity. And it is the creativity that has been so deliberately shut down for eons. And that's being activated big time. 3iAtlas, but also all the planetary alignments. The music of the spheres, which is what cosmic biology is. Cosmology, astrology is not only biological cosmology, it's musical harmonic cosmology. And the music of the spheres is playing such an amazing orchestral role as we come out of a 9, which is 2025, and into a 1, which is 2026. Endings, beginnings. It is our time to step into the flourishment. And I've said this again in the past, but I'll say it again and again until I'm blue in the face, because when we come to February the 20th, 2026, which is only around the corner, when we have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction at the 0 point of Aries, that's the first time that that's occurred for over 6,000 years. And Saturn's at his weakest place in the entire zodiac at that point. What does that mean? It means Saturn can no longer exert his matrix Babylonian authority. Here is our chance to say, fuck you, Saturn, and to use Saturn in a way to ground us, and we then tell Saturn how it's going to work. And it's going to be a totally new structure, a totally new system, and it's going to support we the people. Welcome to the Second Republic.
George, I got to tell you, I had a big fuck you to Saturn last night. I actually posted something on X about not specifically what you're talking about with, anything with the alignments. It's absolutely amazing what you're talking about. I mean, the conjunction there is, how many years has it been since that? It's been like, what, 800 some years or something like that?
Well, for the Saturn Neptune conjunction at 0 point of Aries, the world axis, over 6,000 years.
6,000. Okay.
But yeah,
That's okay. Sorry. I'll just continue what I was saying. So what I posted about was I was talking about how everybody understands this statement from the Bible because we've been programmed with a Saturnian religion that man is conceived in sin and brought forth in iniquity. And we have been held in bondage with that guilt mentality collectively. And it's in the collective consciousness. It's been driven into us, right? Very Saturnian. You're always guilty. You're always having to constantly try to do something to redeem yourself, even though it's clear in the scripture that Christ was the redemption for us. And the Apostle Paul even said in Galatians chapter 2 at the end of it to all the religious people, he said, if you could actually earn your salvation in the way you guys talk about it from a religious standpoint, with your religious acts and deeds and your observances, then Christ died in vain. What do you need Christ for if you could actually earn it through your, what he calls dead works? And with Saturn being the god of the dead, I think you would agree with that, right? He has always produced systems of dead works and forcing things on us. And it's interesting you talk about this difference between Saturn and Kairos, but etymologically the word Kairo means hand. And so I think it's interesting if you're shifting your conception or your perception of time from the chronological to Kairos, which means hand, that gives you the control. That makes you the workman. That makes you the one in power and authority. But going back to this statement in the Bible that has been misconstrued through religious bondage. And by the way, the word religion comes from the Latin religare, which literally means return to bondage. But what the Bible is actually telling us, again, the Bible is an astrological treatise. It is a anatomical treatise. It is a metaphysical treatise. It is not a religious book. It's anything but. It'll actually set you free from religion if you read what it actually says instead of what they say that it says. But what it's talking about, there's a threefold meaning when it says man is conceived in sin and brought forth in iniquity. It's chemical, physiological, and astrological. And the translation from the Hebrew text as it's given is very crude and it's misleading. And I believe they've done this on purpose. But the real meaning of this in the original is that the human embryo remains 9 months in the female laboratory, if that's what you want to call it, thus falling short 3 months of completing a solar year, or in other words, falling short of the glory of God, as the scripture says, right? Or a soul year. A solar year is the same thing as a soul, S-O-U-L year. Okay. And you look at those 3 months where you fall short and think about the 3 days that Jesus was in the tomb for the resurrection. And he is the one that fulfilled and completed Saturn's a law that we could not fulfill, that we came short of, right? And that also 12, the number 12, represents a complete circle. And so this word sin that they've come up with in the Bible, it comes from the Hebrew word skin, S-C-H-I-N, which is actually the 21st letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And it means literally to fall short of completeness or understanding. So
also, maybe it's an inversion.
That's the physiological and astrological importance of what that means to be born at 9 months after conception. That it's an intentional inbuilt in the matrix, falling short of the glory of God, falling short of the completeness, right? Now, in the tarot symbol, the letter S, or sin, which incidentally looks like a serpent, right, is represented by the blind fool, the one that's lacking in wisdom, who is also brought forth in iniquity, and is merely all of this. It's merely a repetition of the words born in sin. Also, the word sin was used as the Babylonian moon goddess and is so-called metaphysically, it represents the false light and the darkness. So all of what you're saying, and I know that's a lot to unpack related to what you just said, but I think it's important as we reach that moment where Saturn, Satan, the god of this world, as the Apostle Paul calls him in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, who has blinded the minds of those who believe not the truth, but instead believe religion. All of that is collapsing. All of that's collapsing. And we're going to be able to now finally see the things like what I just said, being born in original sin, falling short of the glory of God. This does not make you somehow bad or evil. There's nothing you can do to earn that salvation. It's fairy dust that they spread. It's an illusion. You're chasing phantoms, and they always wanted you doing that because you would never fix anything. But now when you understand that, and you understand, and even from a physical health perspective, you've heard of the 3 mineral salts, the cell salts that are related to those 3 months that you fall short of. Everybody has a deficiency of in those salts for those 3, they represent those 3 months. And a lot of health problems are caused when you don't take those.
Magnesium? What would they be, the 3? The magnesium?
Well, it depends on when you're born, because the cell salts are in alignment with all 12 signs of the zodiac, right? And so whenever you're born, or when you're conceived to when you're born, there's 3 months missing there that you're not in the mother's womb, not receiving the energies from those cell salts as they enter the mother's body. The laboratory of the mother that makes the baby is not receiving the positive and negative polarity, the full circle energetic circuit completed during those 3 months. And so what the Bible's talking about is actually a lot of it is chemistry. And that chemistry relates heavily to the way we think, and being incomplete in that sense in our health, it makes it more difficult to grasp these concepts. And so it makes it easier for them to pull the wool over our eyes and tell us that, oh, when the Bible's talking about you being born in sin and you're a bad person and you constantly have to earn your salvation, that's a simple twisting of real anatomical, astrological, and biochemical truths that are in the Bible.
Yeah, there's a lot there to unpack. I mean, do you want me to?
Scott's is like, I'm just gonna have a fucking drink, man. You could say whatever you want about it. I just wanted to bring that up because I just found it interesting what you just said about all of that with Kairos and with Chronos and with religion, and coming up here in February, like you said, where all of these illusions of Saturn are going to come crashing down. And that's a very important point, I think, to make, is this idea of original sin. To me, that's the big one that we've all had ingrained in our collective unconsciousness as humans that keep us in a pattern of fear, shame, guilt, and condemnation. And we have built our lives based on that because of religion.
But Ethan, if Jesus were with us today, Jesus would be wanting us to do the inner work, like we're all saying. He would be attacking Pharisees today. So who are the Pharisees today? The Pharisees are the people in charge, the Saturnian system. It doesn't matter whether it's the secular Pharisee in New York City or London, or whether it's the religious Pharisee in Mecca or in Tennessee or wherever the fundamental is, or in Jerusalem, of course.
Right.
It's a sense of anyone who's controlling the system and controlling the individual expression is the Pharisee. And the Christ, to me, the Christ consciousness is about witnessing that, simultaneously rediscovering the Book of Enoch and all the Apocrypha, understanding that the infiltration of our holy scriptures has been infiltrated by another religion specifically, especially in the early 20th century through the Rothschild Gideon book and the infiltration of other languaging to slightly slant the story of Christ. I'm not going to go too much into that now. And ultimately, you start now to look at Q and the posts and to do with our evolution. And I find, the whole concept, for example, of Darwinism is such a clever ploy to take us so far away from our true nature from our true ontology. I think there was a post about Roswell, the Q post, actually it was 2222, which is very symbolic. And it came out September 19th, 2018. And I think it says, are we alone? No. Highest classification, consider the vastness of space. This is the Great Awakening. Darwinism is the biggest lie. We have extraterrestrial bloodlines about to be awakened. Are you ready to activate your DNA? And then the DNA can be hacked, and it goes into the language of Gene Hackman and Superman and all this. We are the gods. We have this ability to reactivate our DNA. Part of the Christ story, really, and I'm sounding like a early Christian, a Nestorian Christian, pre-Nicaea, is the Christ is in us. And my humble journey is to share this good news, to say that we can activate our Christed light. And that to me is really the focal point.
Well, they called it junk DNA for how long? I mean, I
Yes.
started hearing that in the 90s when I was,
Calling it that.
yeah. There's no such thing as junk DNA. No such
No,
thing.
that should be offensive to you if you're paying attention. But I got to ask you guys, all of you, but George in particular, like, I don't know, I just feel like I've been birthed into, like, I still don't fully trust it, but I'm optimized for this. So for me, when it comes to the passage of time being nonlinear, when it comes to the experiences I'm having and how I'm observing them, sometimes there's like another observation point for me. It's just, this is so cool. I didn't predict this. I don't know how this could ever be described, but I'm really hoping it continues and maybe intensifies. This is what we're here for. I mean, this feels like liberation to me in so many ways.
I love that.
Well said.
I agree with you.
Well said.
Are you experiencing this as well, gentlemen?
Oh, absolutely. I just want to get out of the way of George. I just love having George and Ethan on our show, Scott, because like we tell folks, we get out of the way. You guys go ahead, please.
That's code for Joe's. Like, I'm just ready to drink. I'm tired. I've been fucking traveling, and this is awesome. I want to hear you guys go at it.
No,
I'm messing with you.
George in particular, I think has a
Here's the thing.
unique and more precise.
I love what George and Ethan bring to the show, and it's like fireworks, and not in a Katy Perry weird way, just like real old school fireworks. George and Ethan, it's fantastic. George, go ahead.
Well, thank you. No, I mean, it's really great. We're all contributing in beautiful ways, and thank you for allowing me to have a bit of the platform, a lot of the platform. I mean, look, this isn't a standard comet, what's happening in the night sky. I think part of the thing is my realization, and I've had some non-terrestrial experiences recently in the last 5-7 years in particularly. We have to stop fearing the physical cataclysm. See, Saturn wants us to be in fear. I'm not to say there aren't going to be physical cataclysms. I mean, Uranus has moved back into Taurus for another 2-3 more months, and there are going to be earthquakes, most of them man-made, of course, or made through technologies. But I believe the cataclysm that we're entering is an emotional cataclysm. And in some ways, that's more difficult to handle. Let's focus on our emotions. But we're also developing greater emotional capacity now than ever before as disclosure becomes more manifest. And the planets are here to help us. They're symbols of intention, and we can activate those frequencies. It's music, you see. We can activate those harmonics in ourselves and thus collectively to go to the higher timeline. I personally believe that since 2016, which is connected to 2012, the timelines merged. I can't prove it to you, but my soul knows this deeply, that they tried very hard, the Vatican, the City of London, the Hidden Hand, to make the timeline different. And of course, we've all heard of Project Looking Glass. I sense at the end of the day why they blocked out the sky, why they sped up the vaccine rollout, is to delay or hopefully in their minds abolish the ascension. It's inevitable. And my humble journey and intention is for us to get conscious, to do it together, because this is a super exciting time. It's why I really agree with you, Scott and Joe. It's a super exciting time to be alive. It's actually why we've all come, for many, many decades for me. I've never really understood why I'm here. Since the timeline change of 2016, on one sense, it's been harder. I've lost a lot of loved ones because of my views, but I feel more aligned to my soul contract than ever. And it's the soul family that we together right now are making that shapes the new earth.
Well, you've gained so many more friends for all the ones I lose followers all the time because I just speak truth or I say things sometimes as a catalyst to make people think. I'm trying to shake up their reality so that they will actually become the central point of their reality instead of creating idols outside of themselves. So that when those collapse, they're completely lost, right? And it's interesting to me when we think about all of these cosmic energies that you're talking about right now. I actually look at this as I look at what Jesus said in the Bible when he said the final days will be, and by the way, it's the final days of the end of the age, not the end of the world. The Bible's very clear about that. If you go back to the original Greek, it never says the end of the world, not one single time. Every time it says the end of the age. So we're looking at the end of the age of Pisces right now. Jesus was saying at the end of the age of Pisces, it will be as in the days of Noah, which is interesting because you look at what happened in the days of Noah, and there was a flood that washed away all the old false codes. It was a data washing away in the matrix, essentially, is what it represented. And we're actually having that now. So what he was saying is it wasn't a bad thing. It was nothing to fear. Jesus was talking about a reset of awareness, not punishment. The lake of fire, which is what we're walking through right now, it's a flood of fire. God said, I'll never flood the earth with water again. We're going through the flood of fire right now, leaving the age of Pisces, which is a water age, and we're being baptized in fire. John the Baptist symbolizes Aquarius, the man carrying the pitcher of water. He's the baptizer, but Jesus said the real baptism is that which happens in fire. And so a lot of religious people have completely misunderstood when they read the book of Revelation. And in times, number one, they think it's the end of the world. It's not. It's the end of the age. And they also think that the lake of fire is hell, and it's absolutely not. Revelation is explicitly clear that the lake of fire, hell and death are both cast into the lake of fire. How can hell be the lake of fire if hell is cast into the lake of fire? Is hell cast into itself? It doesn't make any sense.
Hell.
Right? So what we're
hell for the
literally
flame bearer.
witnessing is the presence of God. The Bible continually describes the presence of God as fire. When Jesus was baptized, what was the final thing that happened? The dove descended like fire on him. When they were at Pentecost, there were tongues of fire, and everything's always fire. When God stood between the original Israelites fleeing bondage in Egypt, he stood between the Egyptians and the Israelites as a pillar of fire. Everything that is fire in the Bible is God. Everything that is hell is dark and cold. The Bible never describes hell as fire, not one time.
That's brilliant, Ethan, that you bring that up, because hell is always Saturnian and Saturn is cold and dry.
Yes.
It's basically barren.
100%. Not Barron Trump, just barren.
Just spelled differently.
But it's not hell for the flame bearer, right, Ethan? Like the violent flame, if you have a soul, you're a flame bearer.
You are.
That soul
it's the
was
Promethean
bestowed upon
flame.
long before this construct ever happened.
Yes, it's the Promethean flame. All truth comes with fire, light. Fire is light. It's heat. It's life. You can't have life without fire. You can't have life without light. It is a monstrosity of an ideology that was pushed on everybody through religion that hell is the lake of fire, when absolutely is not. It literally says that everyone will pass through the lake of fire if you read Revelation carefully. Everyone. The question is, how is it going to affect you? And I think we're seeing that right now.
I'm swimming laps, man. I love this. This is great. Let's do more of this. Fire is my thing. Yeah.
What's your sun sign, Scott? When were you born?
September
20th, 1970. Well, I won't say the year.
Well, yeah, we don't want to get all specific.
But so you're a Virgo then?
Yeah, I'm a Virgo, but I'm at
Okay.
the cusp. I'm kind of yeah.
He's on the cusp.
I am.
Libra Virgo cusp.
I think so. Yeah, I'm not as neat and organized as I otherwise would be, I suppose.
Well, it all depends on
But
what else is in your chart, and George could speak to that better than I can. But you
sure.
know, you could actually be, Virgo's an Earth sign. You could be an Earth sign is your sun sign, but your whole chart could be like nothing but fire. And so maybe that's why you like fire. I don't know. Just throwing that out
I
there.
just feel, and I don't know if you guys do, but I just sort of feel like I'm optimized for what is emerging, and I feel more vital, and I feel better, and I
Hmm.
feel like the world makes more sense to me. The further we get into this, and what a relief that is. I mean, George, what do you think? Are you feeling that way?
Very much so. Yeah, I've not felt so aligned for a long, long time. I mean, I've been painting as well in the last few weeks because I'm a painter, and that's a form of channeling. I'm playing the piano more, playing the guitar. I'm
Beautiful.
I'm working, as we all are, through one's own creative modalities. Because as I go back to what Ethan just mentioned, which is so true about and the correspondence between Kairos and the hand. The hand is what creates the creativity. I mean, you see it in Michelangelo's painting, of course, in the Sistine Chapel, the hand, the finger pointing to God, you see. So it's all there in the hand. And fire, in that sense, is connected because fire is the highest of the four elements, meaning it's the most ert, which is the fastest, it's the most direct, and it's the most masculine, followed by air. And then you go to the feminine signs, water and earth. And of course, they all carry different principles. No one sign is better than the other. But we're at the 29 degrees of Scorpio as we record right now. We're about to go into the realm of Sagittarius, which is where the galactic center is. I suspect this next month is going to be incredibly fascinating. Mars, the moon right now, soon the sun and Mercury all going to be in Sagittarius. We've got a couple of planets also in fire signs in Aries. There's a lot of fire, a lot of creativity, but it does make sure we have to ground at the same time. That's the thing about fire. It needs the fuel and it burns out very fast if it's not grounded and refueled. So the sleeping, the eating, the meditation is very important, or the prayer. It doesn't matter what we call it. Some people will call it contemplation. Some people will call it meditation or prayer. That's fine. But we need that time to do the inner work, to refuel our purpose. And then we are much more likely to stay aligned.
I've needed more sleep, I've noticed. I have. And uh, I don't know, it's just sort of you become exhausted rather easily, but you recharge rather quickly. It's a whole different dynamic that I'm experiencing, I would say. And
Well, one of the reasons I think, Scott, that might be is because, as you all know, I have my personal theory and vision of what this matrix construct looks like, with the Saturn Moon matrix and the Black Knight as kind of the sentinel that goes around in tracks and does all the soul location mapping and keeping everything assigned to its place in the grid, keeping all frequencies phase locked, because that's what we all are. We're literally just mathematical monads, energetic signatures within the matrix. We've been phase locked into the soul lattice,
It's
and
very true.
so I think what's happening right now, and this is why 3iAtlas is so important, because it is actually interfering with their phase locking frequencies, and what it's helping us do is helping us to reassign or return to the signals of our origin, to get us aligned back with where and who and what we really are, and the coordinates that have locked us into this reincarnation loop. Even that, I think, is breaking down and fizzling out. The power structure is under so much panic right now, not just politically, but I think it is doing that politically because it's happening first and foremost spiritually, which is the root of all things.
It's interesting
But
you
how
mentioned.
have they? I just want to ask, and George, I think you're about to go into this. What is the reincarnation loop? How have they locked us into this? And what was intended and what was hijacked and what was the hijacking look like as far as going into the light, etc.? I think that would be good to expand on.
what,
Are
the
you
soul
asking me or
trap?
George,
George?
Well, I mean,
Sure.
Ethan,
Whoever
you
wants to
can.
jump in,
I'll jump in. Ethan, you go on that first, and I'll jump in after you.
Well, it's
please.
very complex, and I have a book coming out next year called The Watcher's Cube, and where I
Beautiful.
lay out my thesis on how this actually the physical mechanics, if you will, for lack of better terms, of how this matrix works, and how spirits, or people call them souls, and they're actually not souls. We really should be calling them spirits, because and even the Bible makes a distinction that you are a spirit, you have a soul, which is a collection of your mind, will, and emotions, and you live in a body. And all a spirit is a dimensionless, eternal, uncreated, indestructible, mathematical point or frequency base of all possibilities. And so you are literally consciousness itself outside of space and time. And however the mechanism works, I think it has something to do with the Higgs boson field. I'm not going to talk about that today. We may talk about that in the series, but I personally think the Higgs boson field is kind of like a soul net, if you will. It's what the demiurge uses to attract and trap and phase lock us as monads, as spirits, in an infinite field of other spirits into a grid that is used for this specific game that we're playing, this specific video game we're in, this specific experience that the demiurge has created. And he wants us here because it's his game. He likes it. It's fun for him. It's for him. He's totally convinced that 2/3 light and 1/3 darkness is the perfect balance. It gives you the best experience possible. And he's just sold on this idea that he has the best game in existence. And of course, as with all games, as with all amusement parks, you have to have patrons, right? So if they won't come willingly, then you trap them. I suspect that a lot of people came here originally willingly. They wanted to try out the new amusement park. And then once they were in, they realized, oh shit, I've forgotten who I am. Now I can't get out. It's like the movie Inception. It's dreams within dreams within dreams, to the point where you're so deep into it, you don't even remember who and what you really are. That's how dangerous this game is. But
So
I think
can I
what we're
jump in
seeing
from?
right now is it's becoming easier to wake up from that phase
Yes.
locking and pulling the wool over our eyes and us forgetting who we are.
So I think that's a brilliant explanation of the phase locking of the Saturn lunar matrix. And part of what's happening now, because I want to give us some takeaway application for our audience, is, and already Ethan has intimated this, to do with the precession of the equinox, because it's at the time of we're coming out of the age of Pisces. And I go back to, because it also coincides with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction on the 0 point, the beginning of the zodiac, 0 point Aries. This is a time for us to come out of that phase lock. This is the opportunity for us to break the incarnational cycle. And 3iAtlas is tied to your third eye. I like to think of it that way. Atlas, of course, in the myth, lifts up the earth. The third eye Atlas is the third eye activation, which will stimulate the human being, we the people, on our planet. And especially when it comes to make a conjunction with the planet Earth, our planet Terra, on the 19th through to Christmas holidays, through the 25th of December. And so this is a really great opportunity for us to become conscious of this, and to stay in our heart, not the fear, and to welcome in these new light codes. Don't get nervous of looking at the sun with your naked eye. Obviously, you want to start when the sun is low to get trained up. I mean, I look at the sun when it's fairly high up now, but I've been doing it for over 10 years. And I have not worn sunglasses for 10 years, and I've never worn any sun cream. And yes, I might have a few wrinkles, but I'm very healthy. And this is part of reconnecting with the divine blueprint from our solar energy source. You know, I really believe we're living in a time of an incredible, unprecedented miracle, and the materialistic Cartesian worldview is collapsing very, very fast. And our reality is going to be based now with what the mystics always used to tell us, and the superstring theory of the modern physicists is catching up with ancient knowledge that we're multidimensional. And those old stooges who are ignoring the reality or propagating the ancient Saturnian matrix, they can try as hard as they want. That system's collapsing. In a way, we don't even need to fight it. Witness it and get your hand out. Ethan was saying, get your kairos out. Get creative.
Yep. Well, and
I get a
here's your
really
third eye.
strong,
There's your third eye right there, George.
yeah, I get a
I just
really strong
say,
sense that 3iAtlas is it's absolutely, it's interesting that you mentioned the tie-in with the third eye, because I knew it was a stripping away of all of the distortion, but really the distortion happens here. So quite brilliant in assessment, quite simple in execution. And here we are, and the troublemakers like us are awake. And we're feeling a little mischievous and very vitalized, I think. And uh, you know, I think all the handicaps that we were handed along the way are dissolving in front of us, and that's, I think, good news for everyone.
Very.
well,
Does that
I
make
just want
sense?
to add to that. Yeah, I just want to add to that here we are. All of us are somewhere, give or take, a couple years, if you will, around the age of 50. I'm not sure where George is. Maybe he's even younger than us, but is doing extremely well, aging outside of the norm. But I look at people in their 50s, 20 years ago, and I'm like, wow, they looked old. I think we're all doing relatively well for whatever reason that is. I just think there's a really beautiful world coming, and that the people that are part of the show and looking into things in a different way, there's a whole new future that most of humanity is not even really aware of right now.
Okay, can I just quick? I have to jump in. This is so exciting when you bring up that, because this is a very Saturnian. Ethan, you're going to love this, and Ethan knows this
Okay.
already. This is very much, again, the Kairos Chronos conversation. In other words, how old are you? Chronological. What is your natural age, your biological age? Isn't it interesting that Great Britain is
Big
ruled by Saturn?
difference.
Great Britain is a Saturn-ruled country. It is a country obsessed by age. Have any of you been to Britain? Have any of you been
No,
to Great Britain?
I
No,
haven't.
no, but
Yeah,
I've heard that.
yeah.
Let me tell you, people are obsessed with age. The first thing they'll ask you is, how old are you? What do you do? They want to put you in the box. And it's part of the culture. I grew up in it. And it's not pointing the finger. It is what it is. And as a result, people look very old. Where if we pull away from Chronos into the quality, and so you become your biological age, that's what we're all trying to live by it, rather than the minister of health from Chicago, who was that big fat tranny who looked 104, but was probably 50. You're not
Yes.
going to look. You're not going to look to that for health advice. Where if you're going to look at Tommy, who's 55 and he looks 35 and he's exuberating a 7-foot aura, you're going to say, I want some of that, baby.
Yeah. That's biological age. And as the CEO and founder of Syrona, I teach this all the time to people. Your age has nothing to do with the calendar. Nothing, unless you allow it to. If that's what you align yourself with, that's what you're going to get. The good news is it's up to you. The bad news is it's up to you. Biologically, I'm in my late 20s, early 30s. And you can actually go get tested now if you want to figure out what your biological age is. Big
I
difference.
would say a little bit
between,
younger than that, Ethan.
Well, when I'm 120 years old, I'm going to look like I'm 30. No doubt about it. Chronos, Saturn, has no power over me. This is what happens when you really, truly get a hold of Christ consciousness within. Because this is why Jesus said, fear not, for I have overcome the world. Well, if you're one with Christ, then you also have overcome the world. So why, if you're really in Christ, a lot of people claim to be Christians, they really claim to be one with Christ. They're saved, as they call it, right? They're still getting sick. They're still not able to do greater things than what Jesus did, like he said you would. They're still aging. Why are you aging? You haven't overcome the world. If you can't overcome the world, then you're not in Christ.
I mean, it's
just that simple. I mean, nobody wants to hear that, but that's the way it is. But you know what? This guy right here that we talked about last time, he's helping to break up that phase locking of frequencies that keep that illusion programmed into our minds to make us think, therefore we are. That statement, I think, therefore I am, doesn't just mean, oh, I think, so I exist. It means literally whatever you think, that's what you become. So when you say, oh, I'm sick and tired of this, well, then you're sick and tired. Your body's listening to your mouth. The brain, it just whatever you put into it, it's just a computer. That's all it is. It's garbage in, garbage out, or good in, good out. And the good news is it's up to you. Bad news is it's up to you. You're responsible for your programming. True salvation happens at the subconscious level. You're responsible. You may not have been the one who put the programming there in your subconscious mind, but you own it. In fact, it's the only thing you own. The only thing you do own is your mind. It is your responsibility to go in, and that's the soul, the subconscious mind. Soul is a collection of the mind, will, and emotions. It's all in the subconscious. Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Greg Braden have proven this many times over, that your entire life is 90% of what's programmed in the subconscious mind. The Bible knew this thousands of years ago. That's why it talked about tithing the 10%. The 10%, the difference between the 90% and the 100% is 10%, right? Tithing the 10% is giving the 10% to God, so that it's basically you getting your ego and stuff out of the way so God can get the download to you, so it'll clear the stuff out of the subconscious mind that you get from religion, that you get from school, that you get from the state, that you get from, whatever TV and all the other stuff that you watch, the stuff that you hear all the time. It's always programming you unless you build in the programs to block the firewalls. It's your computer, your responsibility. Run the antivirus software. Romans 12:2, Paul said, be not conformed to the world, but rather be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You got to get the new download. You have to clear it out. And if you don't, you will never be able to do anything that Jesus said you would be able to do, because you haven't taken the responsibility. You have lost your soul. Jesus said, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world, but yet he loses his own soul? A lot of people think your soul is this Casper the Friendly Ghost thing that flies out of your body when you die. That's bullshit. It doesn't exist. The soul is a collection of your mind, will, and emotions. Jesus was saying, if you have given your control of your will over to the world, if you've given control of your mind over to the world, you've lost your mind. If you've given control of your emotions over to whatever happens, you just fly off the handle. You have no control over your emotions. You've lost your soul. And you have gained the whole world. You could be a billionaire, have everything, gain the whole world, but you've lost control of your mind. You have nothing. You've lost your soul. That's what it means to lose your soul.
Amen.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Talking to you, Bill Gates.
I think we're all speechless just for a second here. That's
just for a second. But this guy right here, 3iAtlas, is helping with this. I love it. I absolutely
100%.
fucking love 3iAtlas.
It also
Me too.
ties nicely in, though, with where the North Node is at the moment. So as we know, the North Node always moves backwards in the ecliptic, and at the moment it's in Pisces. And it's so Pisces is all about, the ancient wisdom, the real truth, the mystical, the cosmic. So the North Node is in Pisces. We're coming through to understand the 9 celestial spheres, if you think of Dante's Paradiso. And in some ways, it's to know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And it's all about that divine connection with Source. And as we rediscover that in ourselves and collectively, everything else will take care of itself. It's coming away from fear. In some ways, Pisces, the highest expression, doesn't have fear, because Saturn can't really grip into Pisces. Saturn's not very good in Pisces. And at the moment, Saturn's at the last few degrees of Pisces.
That's probably why Jesus came at the beginning of the age of Pisces.
Yes, definitely. I'm sure of it. And so in a way, the spiritual journey, the conscious journey, is so important at the moment. Because I will say this, I do think with civilization, one of the traps we had at the fall of Atlantis, and we still have today, but it's not going to happen in the same way with Atlantis, is consciousness up until this point has always been beneath the technology development. What's interesting now, and I'm a great optimist here, is we are supercharging our consciousness. We're going from 0 to 60 quite fast since the pandemic started, which had to happen, by the way, in order to activate we the people's consciousness, so that AI, artificial intelligence, can support and aid the divine blueprint of the human being, as opposed to suppress it. And once our consciousness as a group is at a certain level, the AI will only be supportive, because it will mirror the consciousness, where before the consciousness was subdued, enslaved, depressed. So the AI started to do negative things. Think Terminator 1 and 2. That's an old timeline. I don't believe it's ultimately possible, that timeline. We're getting very fast towards AI purely supporting the divine blueprint.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're going to go ahead and take a break for just a few minutes. I need to refresh on some water over here. I'm running out and I'm over here coughing and dry.
Damn right.
So it happens when I go on rants and then my throat gets dry. I need some more water. I didn't bring enough over for this conversation, apparently. One bottle wasn't enough today. But also
Not
drinking a
at
little bit
all.
of wine too. I think that's probably contributing to it. But you know, that's my
Beautiful.
communion.
And
This
we have
is
George,
our
we have you-
communion. What's that?
I was going to say, George, we have you a little bit. We have you a little bit longer tonight than last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll probably go for maybe another 20 minutes, half hour, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's
I got
fine.
another half hour. I'm good. This is great. I just love that George and Ethan and Scott are on the same show as I am.
Yes, it's
Oh
awesome.
God, yes.
All right, guys, don't go away.
What
We'll
is
be
time
right back.
anyway?
Right after.
Who's gonna drive you home tonight? Who's gonna pick you up?
For painful injections, we've unlocked the secret to needle-free NAD absorption. Introducing Syrona's revolutionary nano NAD plus supplement, Lucid. Syrona's breakthrough nanotechnology is transforming how our bodies absorb and use delicate nutrients like NAD. Instead of swallowing a pill and losing most of it to digestion, you simply place it under your tongue, where it's absorbed directly into your bloodstream. This sublingual method allows NAD to bypass the hostile digestive tract entirely. Even liposomal NAD can't truly solve this problem the way our proprietary nanotechnology does. NAD is essential for energy production and DNA repair, but our levels naturally decline as we age. NAD is the central redox cofactor, accepting electrons during vital processes like glycolysis, beta oxidation, and the TCA cycle. Without enough NAD, ATP production slows and cells face an energy crisis. Unlike NADH, which is a temporary electron donor, NAD+, the oxidized form of NAD, is what your cells actually use up in metabolism and repair. With our proprietary stasis nanotechnology, you get highly effective oxidized NAD+ delivered directly into your bloodstream. No needles, no clinic visits. It's simple, fast, and effective. And if you haven't heard, direct NAD delivery, like Syrona's Lucid formula, is now being intensely researched by doctors and scientists worldwide for Alzheimer's, neurodegenerative diseases, addiction recovery, chronic fatigue, anti-aging, mitochondrial disorders, weight loss, and many other chronic conditions. But we didn't stop there. Our formula includes nanohuperzine A and nano-sized Bacopa monnieri for unmatched cognitive support, and fueling longevity proteins that regulate metabolism and gene expression, enzymes involved in DNA repair, and cell signaling and immune responses. The Bacopa boosts neuron growth and resilience, and it helps prevent oxidative damage that would otherwise burn through NAD during DNA repair. A major added layer of protection and benefit you won't get from any other NAD supplement. And that's on top of the fact that the huperzine A crosses the blood-brain barrier easily and can also protect neurons from glutamate toxicity, which can deplete NAD through overactivation of repair enzymes. Simply put, there isn't another NAD formula that can even claim any significant competition with Syrona's Lucid formula. It's not even close. Lucid is truly a one-of-a-kind supplement and stands more than head and shoulders above the other NAD supplement options on the market today. And while the competitors charge hundreds or even thousands of dollars for painful and inconvenient NAD injections and IV infusions, our proprietary stasis stable suspension nanotechnology allows complete and immediate sublingual absorption directly into the bloodstream in a great-tasting formula from a pocket-sized bottle. 1 month's supply costs less than $100, not hundreds or thousands of dollars like other NAD supplements. And this comes with results that not only rival other expensive treatments, in most cases, the results are actually far better and last longer. Imagine carrying around a whole month's supply of nano-sized NAD+, huperzine A, and Bacopa monnieri that goes straight into your bloodstream, immediately, just by swishing it in your mouth. You can use it as often as you want, even safely high-dosing it for Superman-like results, for a fraction of the cost of jabbing a needle in your arm, or driving to a clinic to have someone else jab a needle in your arm and waste hours of your time. Plus, you'll get better results with Syrona's NAD formula anyway. So with a true 2-year shelf life, and immediate bioavailability, and with no refrigeration needed, it's truly a no-brainer. You'll always get maximum effectiveness in every dose, every single day, even if you stock up and store Lucid for when you need it the most. Syrona is trusted by thousands worldwide for our commitment to science, innovation, and real results. We create and manufacture our own formulas in the USA, in the most technologically advanced laboratories, and our team of experts ensures every bottle meets the highest standards for purity, absorption, and potency. Experience the future of anti-aging, detoxification, and cellular health. Give your body the reset it deserves and get your youth back. Visit Syrona.org to order your Syrona Nano NAD Plus supplement today and unlock your best self. No needles, no clinic, no house payment size bills, just results. And remember, it's not magic, it's Syrona.
Fine place for a day full of breakdowns. Takes more than a meltdown to show us how. Throw a tack on the road, stop the meat plow. Got a bullet, but it ain't mine. They got these pictures of everything.
And we are back here on the Ethan Lucas Show, as well as Truth Stream with Joe Rosati, Scott Stone, George Lewis for, oh no, Scott Rapture.
We'll have to.
Scott
We'll
got
actually
raptured
have to
during the
carry
break.
this.
He must be hitching a ride on 3iAtlas.
I'm like, the beautiful thing when this is okay. I just want to have an extended halftime show just for a moment. There was a gentleman who mentioned, I think it was a gentleman, they weren't trans. They mentioned that they're the best part of watching, I think, shows in general, but they were talking about our show, is the quirks that happen when one is live. And
Right.
I love like commenting on this. Like, so we're wondering, is Scott going to the bathroom? Is he having a chew? Is he grabbing a drink? Is he talking to Matt Geiger about Verity Metals?
Yeah.
Is he setting up a date with a midget? We really don't know.
Is he using his Syrona skin spray to reduce his biological age by 10 years?
Or is he realizing that once in a while, I mean, is he inserting a tampon? Like, we really have no idea.
A man pond? Did he get that from? Did he get one of those in one of the men's restrooms in Minnesota?
We live in polarity consciousness. On the 5D level, he could be in a deep meditation. On a 3D level, he'll be in some petty fornication. It could be either.
Petty fornication. I love it. So good.
I love it. We can just go into whatever. So, George, can we, until Scott gets here. So we have an event coming up, I think in April. We're still figuring out specifics. What part of the country are you in if we decide to do an event where in an area where you are? Because I think we need to do an event with the four of us in person somewhere where people can tend to it. Where are you? You don't have to say the city, but which state or which region are you in? And I know you've told me, but
it's quite
a question. Want to do live events?
Well, I'd love to try and create something with you. That'd be wonderful. I'm pretty nomadic and I'm very open to it. I don't think I've made too many commitments beyond March next year at this stage.
Okay.
I mean, I'm doing a retreat in Sri Lanka in November and maybe taking some people to Bhutan. But beyond that, I think I'm pretty free in April. So I'm open to which of the 52 states we could do it in. Okay? The 52 states.
Or we've been in touch with Carol Maureen Friesen, who's watching the show, and I think if Scott's open to this, I think we're moving the retreat to April, and we're doing it in Costa Rica. So would that work for all of you guys?
Yeah, that could be fun.
For me,
Ethan, you ready to
Oh,
go to
it's
Costa
beautiful. It's
Rica?
great.
I don't know if I can. I mean, I'm in the middle of building the New Earth project here in Tennessee.
Well,
If
goddamn,
I
if
step
you
away
can't
from
make it,
that, I don't know. We'll see.
well, we'll
All right,
figure it out.
Ethan.
We just
I
go
think you're
ahead,
going to
Scott.
make it.
Okay.
You're going to make it. And Carol's actively roasting me in the comments. If anyone's enjoying that, it's
Is she? Okay.
a lot of fun.
I like,
Yeah.
I like,
Thanks,
I like
Carol.
Ethan. Ethan's very serious, isn't he, about his project? I love it, Ethan. It shows you grit. But life is far too serious to be taken seriously. Remember,
Yes.
that's also one of our sayings here.
No,
So
I know. I do know. But
you
this
may have
this is
to struggle.
important. I really truly believe that what we're
No,
doing here in Tennessee with the New Earth Project is it's literally the spearhead of what's going to become the new ecclesia. It's picking up where Jesus left off when he started the original ecclesia, which the Greek word ecclesia means a lawful assembly of sovereigns, which is what Jesus
Beautiful.
started, which is why they murdered
Beautiful.
him, because he was challenging both the church and the state. So the church and the state teamed up to murder the Son of God because he started a freedom movement of people who did not need systems of control anymore. The Saturnian systems were collapsing, and so yeah, again, I'm not saying that to be like, hey, I'm never doing anything ever again, and this is literally going to take precedence over absolutely everything. I mean, I'm still going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to shower. I'm going to wipe my ass. I'm going to do what I need to do, and hopefully I'll have time to hang out. But until this thing is built, this seriously is the most important thing since the original ecclesia with Jesus Christ and the 12 disciples.
That's very beautiful. That's lovely.
Joe's like,
It is.
okay.
Guess we're going to Tennessee. That's what he's saying. We're all going to meet up in Tennessee. Is what it sounds like.
Maybe
hey,
you should do that.
Will Sacha Stone join us? We'll put a whole
Absolutely.
event together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, we don't have to go to Costa Rica. We don't have to go to Carol's. I mean, we're going to, but then we can fly on back because it's really easy when you're in Costa Rica. You're really close to the East Coast, and we can do a beautiful event in Tennessee in May. It doesn't. We'll figure it out. Our whole thing, Scott and I, as much as we've enjoyed doing Truth Stream online in a 2D world. When you have David Martin on your show a few times, when Ethan's doing in-person events with David Martin, we don't know exactly what his availability is, but we want to do in-person events all over. And so it's incredible to finally, and this is because of primarily Verity Metals from Matt Geiger, where Scott is, and Ethan Lucas from Syrona. Scott and I are finally able to take our mission and vision out and meet real people in real time. And what a blessing, because I tell you, Scott and I had a video about nearly 2 years ago to the day, and we were not in a good space because we're doing everything we can with censorship, just trying to figure it out. And now we can go around the world and meet people in person and hang out with them. It's incredible. What a cool thing to be able to do.
You answer a calling and you don't know exactly how that's going to work out. And sometimes there's some
No
bumps
clue.
along the way. But I think being dedicated to this, I think it's meant the world. I think it's meant the world to, well, certainly to us, but I think to a few other folks as well. And either the events we go to, like I said, last night I spent the evening with people that are changing the world medically. It's phenomenal. I'm constantly inspired, constantly. I mean, what a gift. It's pretty amazing. And I think you guys feel much the same. It's funny to me when I hear the folks that are like, well, nothing's happening. Well, are you paying attention? Because everything is happening. And I can't wait for this 3iAtlas event because I think that's going to strip away. It's gonna strip away the illusion.
And the real question is, are you happy? Again, the good news is it's up to you. The bad news is it's up to you.
Yeah, well,
Ethan,
it's my universe. You're
real
just
quick.
living in it,
Zoom
pal.
on Scott again. Do that Zoom on Scott again.
The zoom on Scott, the
Just
one
go
where
ahead, do that. There it is. There it is. It's so good.
the inopportune
There
moment
he
where I
is.
zoomed literally right when he stopped talking,
God
and then I
damn.
zoomed out and he started talking again.
Thanks, Ethan. Are you and Carol working together to sabotage me on the show? I don't know. No, but I'm serious. This constant inspiration is phenomenal. I mean, this is what I'm here for. This is really what I'm here for because life was looking pretty mundane there for a minute. I think for most of us, and a lot of people are still caught up in the materialism of things and so on. I mean, we all get caught up in that to some degree here and there, but there's a sense of freedom in the air right now. And I don't mean that necessarily from the patriotic sense. I mean that from the soul sense. I think we're given the levity, the freedom to soar, to flap our wings a bit, and this is just the beginning.
Definitely.
Beautifully said.
Is there
Yeah,
is that the wave? The waves crashing, Joe? What am I hearing?
Waves.
Oh,
Well,
I'm
you
hearing
know what? Hold on a second. I'm on the island of Kona with the family for my mom's 80th birthday. The waves are right beyond the golf course over here. And I'm gonna level with the audience. For the last 3 days, I've been in a bit of a crisis because my mom, she's been really struggling with diabetes over the last year. We've had her communicating with Dr. Layla Ali. I've got her taking the Syrona NAD and glutathione every day when I give it to her. People are programmed into their old ways. And I'm doing everything I can to figure this out. It's been really, really stressful to teach an old dog new tricks, to teach someone that, isn't they're open to things, but when there's not a lot of support, there's not a lot of information that's readily available. I mean, is my mom going to like download Telegram and start looking at chlorine dioxide when Michelle Skiao is talking about it? Is she going to dig into interviews with Scott and I and Ethan Lucas? Probably not, but I'm doing my best. And the fact that we're even here and we got here for the last 3 days has been a challenge. It's a small miracle that we're even here. And so we're going to a luau tonight. My mom turns 80 tomorrow. Like it's a big deal. But it's been very, very challenging to even get here. So honestly, probably after this show for the next 5 days, I'm going to turn off my phone to celebrate my family. But I can't think of a better show and more beautiful energy than to share with you guys and our viewers that what's going on in the world in our different perspectives. So yeah, it's been tough in the last few days because I really didn't think. I literally thought, like, Mom, if we don't go to Hawaii, you may never see it again. And I hope I'm wrong, and thank God she's here. But yeah, it's been a lot. So it's cool to share that with you guys right now live. It's been very challenging.
Your microcosm, your story is absolutely everyone else's story, obviously told totally uniquely and differently. But I really resonate with that story because we've all got family members who've chosen different paths to ourselves. And that's where we have to meet the higher self of our parents or the higher self of an ex-wife or an ex-husband or whatever, or even a child who's made a different choice. And that's where the spirituality, the consciousness comes in at this time is we love them for where they're at and we try the best. It's like the four gates of speech. Number one, is it truthful? The second is, can it be said kindly? The third is it the right time? And the fourth is it necessary? So it's a sense of, respecting where people are at. And not everyone can receive all the information. Yes, my mother too won't download Telegram. She'll take some of the medicine, but then when she's left on her own, it's harder. And this is true for all of us. We have to have massive
Yes,
compassion. Yeah. Try our
you
best
just
and then
you
give.
just nailed it. No, so right now we're looking. Okay, there's a place called New Start. I think it's newstart.com. It's in Northern California. There's another place in Sedona. Um, each one, I'll just be transparent. I'll let people know. The one in Northern California is about 7 to 8 grand for 18 days. The one in Sedona is around 9 grand for 3 weeks. And because the thing is, as much as we can teach our friends, our mothers, family members, if they don't, people gotta want something for themselves more than we want it for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if my mom goes to a healing center in either Arizona or California, and then she can be immersed and supported, and you try the Gerson diet, whatever she wants to try, so that she can learn, because it's very challenging as a son to come across with medical information, even though Scott and I run a show, and say, hey mom, I know all these amazing friends and they want you to try this. And they're not going to just grasp that. They're not going to just jump into that immediately. So they need to see it in a third party validation. So the beautiful thing is there are a few places out there that my mom can go to that can hopefully elongate her life, make her life better. But I think what's been really hard is hearing about med beds and technology and all these patents, etc. And we're on the cusp, we're on the verge, and yet we don't really see it happening. But we know something's happening. But sometimes it does feel, and part of the stress that I've dealt with is feeling like the boy who cried wolf. It's been like 5 years, and it's like, oh, these things are about to happen, and when are they going to happen? And so I
We've
guess the
all
beautiful thing about Syrona and we Scott and I have Lynn Scott Hagerman on our show from LifeWave, and sometimes we don't know exactly what product is doing what, because Scott and I are throwing everything we can at our health issues, right, Scott? I mean, are we not just trying to take the best of the beautiful souls that have been on our show? But it's very challenging having a mom that is used to an old school way of thinking and try and educate and articulate what's possible, but it's moving in slow motion. So it's been very challenging for me. So I just wanted to be transparent and share that with the audience, because it's fucking
Well,
hard sometimes.
Joe, I had a conversation with my mother that was like 40 minutes of negativity. A person has to want that future for themselves, and they have to go within to create it. And the opportunity has never been more prescient than it is now. A lot of people are addicted to their pain, to their victimhood. It's part of their identity in many ways. The conditions that we're living in right now offer, well, heaven on earth in so many ways, but we have to break from that previous identity. You know what I mean? And for a lot of people, that's a big deal. For me, I don't know. Yeah, every day is a new opportunity, but it, this is the part that's testing a lot of people. I know a lot of people that are elated like me. I feel like I'm getting away with a lot more because I'm optimized for these times. It's wonderful. But I think a lot of people are really struggling because this really challenges where they're at. Their view of themselves, their identity, everything is wrapped up in a struggle that all they have to do. Yeah, I told my mom a long time ago, you're going to be presented with a doorway and it's going to open, but your suitcases aren't going to fit. You have to put the bags down and walk through that door
Beautiful.
alone. And
Beautiful. Wow.
I've told her this many times. I've told a lot of people that
Jesus told
we're there at
everyone
that
that
point.
Jesus
at
told the
that point.
disciples that if you want to meet with me in the upper room, you leave everything at
Yeah.
the door. The table's fully furnished. You got to leave all
Boom.
your old bullshit at the door.
100%. And it's better on the other side in every possible way. And Amazon delivers there too, so don't really sweat anything.
Do you think Amazon delivered the Last Supper?
No,
No, you guys,
well,
this is
they'll
such a
explain
good
a lot of
point.
the facial expressions in the painting.
Well, no, this is such a good point because whatever route my mom takes, if she finally gets on board and does the Gerson therapy and goes to the healing center in either Arizona or Northern California, if she does LifeWave, if she takes Syrona, if she does that, that's great. But also, I gotta be okay with if she doesn't do that, that's okay. It's her choice, and I think that's the hardest thing. It's like I'm very results oriented, and when I don't see her vested and interested or on board or taking actions, I gotta not feel like I'm a failure because she's not doing. I'm like, Mom, I've done 500 interviews. I know brilliant minds. They can explain it way better than I do. But if she decides not to do that, I have to be okay. I'm doing I know that I know I'm doing every freaking thing that I can to not only for my mom, but for our viewers. Like Scott and I are, we never started the show for money. We started this because children are being trafficked, and we're doing everything we can to educate people in the best way we know how. And what's challenging is sometimes that I don't feel my best is good enough, and it's really hard.
Are you a Virgo?
No, I am
Uh,
though.
Aquarius, he's the Virgo.
Okay, okay. Because
If I
here's the
was
thing.
results oriented, I would be so constipated. It would be unbelievable because, I mean, you don't get those results. This has really been a leap of faith over and over and over. George, I know you've got a great point here, and I don't mean to belabor it. I'm just saying this isn't about the results. This is about what you find when you go within. Eventually, those results will materialize, and they'll materialize at the rate at which you are doing that inner work. I don't even want to call it work. It's just confronting the self. It's really being in touch with what you are and who you are. Remember that soul that you carry was given to you long before there was ever an earth, there was ever a human being. You're that eternal. You've been around for that long.
You've been around
The
forever, and you will
wisdom
be
you
around forever.
carry, the wisdom you carry is inconceivable, and you're only beginning to tap into that. But it's yours. It belongs to you. It is your birthright from a very long time ago. Always remember that, because these challenges, and they're probably going to get a little bit more challenging,
Yep.
but these challenges are nothing, when you stack them up against that level of wisdom and that level of eternal nature. You are God. You are a fractal of what created everything. And when you embrace that, there is nothing that can harm you. There is nothing that can stress you if you're paying attention. Just breathe. Yeah, it's all here. And yeah, it takes a minute. It takes a minute. Saturn is a motherfucker. But we're doing away with that, right, George? What was the point you were going to say? Sorry that I
Well,
carried on.
Please.
I think we're dealing with empaths here. So Joe's story is very beautiful. In a way, I mean, we all have our own version of that story. I certainly have my own version of Joe's story right now with members of my family. I think one of the things us empaths have to understand is if we really believe in self-sovereignty, we have to allow the mother, the daughter, whoever it is, to make their decision, because we don't know what their soul contract is. And maybe, and this is a question because I don't know you and your mother, Joe, but maybe your mother subconsciously doesn't want to partake in the new earth. And I don't know that's a question. It's not a statement. And it's like,
No,
I have to,
very fair.
I,
Very
right.
fair.
I have to come to terms with that about my parents, maybe not in certain situations. Look, Edgar Casey and Dolores Cannon both predicted this timeline. There's no coincidence here. This is confirmation. And they both predicted the same outcome as well. Edgar Casey's prediction coincided with the winter solstice that we're coming up to. He called it a gateway moment. Dolores Cannon talks about a new Earth being born. Edgar Casey talks more about ascension, actually. And I think here we are. We're at this pivot point now. We are going to see some older people, but certain souls, forget the age, they are going to want to leave. And it's not going to make logical sense to us because, of course, we want to save our parents in particular or loved ones. But maybe there's a time we have to just give our best, try our best, but then give it over to God. And that's part of the spiritual evolution of us, allowing God and the relationship that your mother in this case has with God. That's between them. Don't take the onus, the burden on yourself, because you've tried so hard as a loving son. I think that's very important to remain the witness as much as you can. You try your best and then you let it go. And it's a practice. That's a spiritual practice that's very important for all of us to undertake.
Well said. Beautiful.
I will tell you this, Joe. I do know we plan on having what people would call, they're not exactly the same, but what people would call med beds here on the new Earth in Tennessee. We have access to that. And I believe, and Sasha believes, based on the technologies that we know we have access to, that we're going to be ushering in through the New Earth Project, anyone who's still alive in 5 years from now will have the opportunity to live for 500 to 1,000 or even more years. Because even if we extend it, even if we extend the age 200 years, in the next 5 years, well, then what happens, in the next 50 years after that? Then we extend it 1,000, on and on and on and on. We'll get that Eden regained. We will have that. That's what the New Earth Project's about. Eden will be regained. If you choose to stay here in this video game, if you want to forever, you can. But this isn't the end all be all. I think there's better realms out there, honestly. I came here on assignment to make this world a better place, to usher in the kingdom of heaven on earth during this Aquarian age. And it's interesting that this first time I found out, Joe, that you're Aquarius. I'm also Aquarius, sun sign. But it's happening. And quite honestly, actually, I've had the technology for a while myself. A very crude version of what you would call a med bed that you actually can lay in, and it emits specific frequencies to elevate the health of the body, and it does work. But it's not going to regrow somebody's arm or something like that. That technology exists, and it is coming, but it's going to have to come through we the people. It's not going to be given to us. We have to want it. Everything. You have to want it. It's salvation, the Bible says, is for whomsoever will. Not for whomsoever sits back and waits for somebody to come and just give it to him for free. That's never going to happen. That's not the world we live in. And I'm afraid that's happened way too much with the whole Q movement too. Is that people just think that it's all about somebody riding in on a white horse to save them, and they don't have to do anything, just sit back and watch. They think that's what the plan is. If you actually read the Q drops, it's very, very descriptive in what the plan is. In fact, drop 4944, Q said, asked the whole entire world, said, are you ready to finish what we started? And
it's funny, I don't look at the Q at all as in it's the savior. For me, it's a wonderful jigsaw puzzle to unpack, to activate. To me, it's a call to activation. It's funny, I don't see it as the savior.
But many people do, though, and I agree with you, George. It is the activator. It is the catalyst. It is like 3iAtlas. It is that which is piercing the veil. It's a trajectory that pierces it. It interrupts the broadcast. It's the Promethean spark that's flung into the world of controlled fire. And there's too many people not looking at it properly. The same thing has happened with the Bible. For thousands of years, they've looked at the Bible completely the wrong way. And so, just like Jesus said, they have made the word of God of no effect through their own tradition. And that's absolutely what we're looking at with the Q drops. It's the same thing. You have made the Q movement of no effect through your own tradition. And I'm wildly unpopular for saying that, because I know everyone just wants, just like I'm wildly unpopular for saying what I say about the Bible. Everybody wants the old story. They want the easy path. They want it to just be given to them, and they don't have to do anything. They don't have to change anything. Well, 3iAtlas in this whole age is here. It's here to snap you out of your stupor.
Yeah, out of passivity. We can't be bystanders, because when we are bystanders, Saturn can run amok over us. I mean, our frequency determines our future timeline. So we have to, by definition, activate that frequency and be a creative spark. That's the Uranus principle, is the activation of the divine spark within us all. That's the Christ head, really, at the end of the day.
Yep. You know, Prometheus stole the fire.
Ethan's not here for a fucking popularity con, and none of us are. We're about here for the longevity and the betterment of humanity. The rest of it's bullshit. It doesn't matter.
And I promise people, you may not like what I have to say right now during this time period, and a lot of people are unfollowing me. A lot more people are following me, but it will age very well. It's all about the end game. It's not about the intermediary and getting clicks and likes and follows now, because I know the temporary stories that are going to fall apart. Prometheus stole the fire, stole the frequency, stole the information from the gods of limitation. You have to have that mindset. That's how I live my life. So I don't just ride every fucking popular wave out there. What's that?
Right. I mean, I totally agree with you, because the archetype of Prometheus is Uranian. Just to put it really clear, Prometheus and Uranus really is the same archetype.
Yep. And the gods, the Saturnian administrators in this old system who have monopolized the light through all of their systems of control, that's breaking down. And if you're not willing to accept that, if you're not willing to let go of the old paradigm of somebody's going to come riding in on a white horse to save you, you don't have to do anything, then you'll never be free. You'll never get to become part of the new earth, because you're just going to sit back and make excuses about why your story was always right, but you don't know why it didn't happen the way you thought it would.
Yep.
Yeah,
anyway.
Very much so. Good.
Are you guys ready to land the Atlas?
I am. Yeah, I got.
Yeah, let's put our seats in their proper upright position, and our tray tables where they're supposed to be.
Well, we're going to a luau tonight. My nephew's turning 16, and my mom tonight, and my mom turns 80 tomorrow. So yeah, it's about time for the land the plane and time to kick it with my fam. So
I like it.
Wow.
Well, in closing, is there anything else you would like to add, George?
Please, George.
I don't know. I mean, it's been a wonderful conversation. I mean, I think stay in authenticity. The most important thing is the vibration of authenticity is 50 times more powerful than the vibration of love. And truly, we can't love until we're authentic. Otherwise, it's codependency. So, the humor is important, but the authenticity is the alpha and the omega.
100%. I love it. I don't think I could have said it better myself. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching Sovereign Codes and Cosmic Infrastructure Part 3 on Ethan Lucas Show and on Truth Stream. Make sure you're following on social media, on X, on Rumble, on Instagram, anywhere you can find us. Make sure you like and follow and share. All right, guys. We will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
So tell me why.
Welcome to Americana. Please make your selection followed by the pound sign. Now,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the disclaimer. That's right, the disclaimer. This American apple pie institution known as parental discretion will cleanse any sense of innuendo or sarcasm from the lyrics, which might actually make you think, and will also insult your intelligence at the same time. So, protect your family. This album contains explicit depictions of things which are real. These real things are commonly known as life. So, if it sounds sarcastic, don't take it seriously. If it sounds dangerous, do not try this at home or at all. And if it offends you, just don't listen to it.
Son of a bitch.